is as hot as it's going to get when it comes to being in the box and swinging the bat. Josie Foreman, USF softball catcher. I am so happy that you can join me on the program today. How are you? Happy Monday, happy Tuesday.
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I was on the radio call the other day before you hit your first home run in, it was almost 3 years. And Derek Sharp and I were having the conversation, Josie, about, because I've been following you your whole career, and we'll talk, being a youngster, catching Georgina Corrick in a little bit, because I just thought that was so awesome to be able to see such a young player with, a senior, and how you were able to rise to the occasion and rise your level of play. And I know you've dealt with some injuries and everything, off the field stuff, but to be able to see you hit that home run, Oppo Taco, soft shell, as I like to call it, just take us through that at bat before the rest of the crazy weekend that you had. But to be able to hit that home run, what was that like? It had to be kind of a little bit of a sigh of relief.
Oh, it definitely was. I went in like kind of just thinking singles, how can I keep it as simple as possible? And then off the bat, I mean, it was a close one, but I knew it was going to happen. And it was just, you could see the video, how excited I was. Just that feeling of like, okay, like we're back, like we're so back. So that was really exciting.
And then Olivia hits the home run. It goes in the glove, out of the glove. Like, I mean, listen, after losing those first 2 games, you guys were able to come back and play really strong. And Louisville's a good team. And, you're going against, and she ended up coming in, the co-ACC pitcher of the week there, Zavala, and she struck out the first 5 batters. And you ladies did not get your head down. You stayed with it. You're able to win that game and then propel that to win 2 more games. What was that? What did it take for the Bulls, for the green and gold there, to be able to just falter in those first 2 games, but to not get down and to be able to be successful the rest of the weekend?
I think if you even go back to last weekend and us originally against Penn State, like going down and then coming back and scoring however many runs we did, it just shows that this team is different. And that's what I tell a lot of people, like we're not willing to give up. Even our Wisconsin game, when we were down, we were getting run ruled, but we still, like, there was still fight in there. Like we refused to give up easy. And I think we've all kind of bought into that mentality of like, we're going to do whatever it takes to win this game, and kind of like comforting our pitchers. Like we got you. And that's a big thing that's happening within our team right now. Like we have a really, really good bond between each other.
You can tell, and I mean, the game on Sunday too, and we'll go back to the game, the late night game. But I want to ask you about the Troy 7 RBIs, Josie. I mean, what did you have for breakfast that day? Like, what goes into a performance like that? After the game, do you look back and go, all right, I'm going to eat this exact thing, I'm going to walk into the dugout at the same time? Like, my goodness, 7 RBIs, like that's like video game numbers.
It was definitely like after the game, I texted my family, and the first thing I said was like, I'm never not getting my Starbucks again before. No,
What's the Starbucks order?
I had a chocolate cream cold brew with 2 pumps of peppermint and 1 pump of vanilla.
Boom. There you go. The Josie special. We got to get you like an NIL deal with these guys now.
That's a dream. That would be a dream. No, but it was really exciting. I mean, again, them going up right away, all I wanted to do was hit a ball into the gap, and that's what happened. And then kind of just like building off that momentum of, okay, like it's just another at bat. And that's what I've been working on a lot for myself, is like taking it 1 at bat at a time, taking it 1 pitch at a time, and trying not to put too much pressure in the situation. So kind of just staying calm and remembering to breathe was a key element in that.
Saturday night, I was there because I called the first game during the day, and then left and did some things, went to the basketball game, came back, and we weren't sure if even you guys were going to play because it was so late. And then the run rule happened, and you did play, and it was cold up there. I was up top above the opposing, and I'm by myself up there, and I was like, I really love this sport to be up here. I really do. And listen, I mean, you tip your hat to Kent State. Like, they didn't win a game all weekend. And that game right there, they had the lead. They had a lot of confidence. And then you didn't start that game. So I'm watching you because I'm like, oh, my God, Josie's not playing. She's not starting. And I look over, and I see you warming up a pitcher in the dugout or in the bullpen. Then I see you on the top step, and I go, this is what I love about softball. This young lady is swinging the bat well. She's not getting the start, and it doesn't affect her attitude whatsoever. And then Kathy goes up there, Coach Ken Eriksen makes the move, and you come up, and I go, here it is. Here it is right here. You hit a home run that got out so freaking fast over left, and Kathy was the person. And I just saw when you went in for her, you guys slapped hands, and she wasn't like moping around. She had a great attitude, and then she turned around and she was on the top step of the dugout, and she was the loudest person when you hit the home run. So what is that? Is that just a softball thing? Is that a USF thing? Because you see it a lot where athletes, you're so emotional, you wear your heart on your sleeve. It's natural to be let down if you get taken out of the game, you would think, but just you two specifically, and I'm not saying nobody else is like that, but just take me through that entire situation right there, because I was so happy. It almost brought a tear to my eye. It was so emotional because you handled it with such maturity.
I think it goes a lot like with understanding that a coach's decision is never going to fail you. So understanding that like he has a lineup for a reason and he puts people in certain positions for a reason. And once you get everyone to buy into that and understand that like, okay, like there's a reason this person's in, and like we all want nothing but the best because we all want to win at the end of the day. Like I would never like wish anything bad on a teammate going in and like another spot. Like I want them to do the best they can. And I think that night was like really an exclamation point on like showing that, like you said, like Kathy, she was so excited for me. Like I looked over into the dugout and I saw all the girls dancing, and like I like cracked a smile, and one of the girls was like, I knew right then and there you were gonna hit a home run. But like just like knowing that I have like 25 other girls behind me supporting me in that situation, which is a pretty nerve-wracking situation.
Right.
I called my parents and I was like, I think that's only the second time I pinched it in my entire life. But just knowing that I had all of them behind me, and that's something we talk about a lot, like, is you don't need to worry about like your outcome because you have 25 other people behind you. Like, don't try to be a hero in that situation. Sometimes it happens, but like keeping it simple and understanding that like if you can't do it, the person behind you is going to, and the people in the dugout are going to be there to support you through it all.
I love that. Tell me about playing for a guy like Ken Eriksen, a fellow Long Islander like myself. You got to bust his chops for me. Make sure you get him on the podcast, because I know he's a busy guy, and I know he doesn't do a ton of media, but I'm going to try to get my guy Coach Ken on, because I played softball. I played fast pitch growing up. My dad was a ranked pitcher, so like softball's huge in my house growing up. But to play for a guy like that, former Olympic coach, like he's been around this game. He isn't just a baseball convert. Like this is a softball guy. And you've been around him for years now. I mean, you're probably one of the more, longest tenured Bulls that he's had. Like, what is it like to play for Coach Ken?
I think it's a good learning moment, because like every day he comes with something new, it seems like, but you know that you're going to still have your old school ways, and you got to respect it, because I mean he's going to want the best from you and he's going to push you to be your best, but not only on the field, off the field too. And like being in grad school and being around more professional people as I get older, it goes to show like, okay, like he set me up not only for softball but for life too. Like I have these skills that I can transfer into my profession and that sort of stuff. So I think like understanding that he's always going to want the best for us, and he's always going to teach us, and he's always going to be there to answer your questions, and it's good to take advantage of those questions.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's just been around. Just think about all the people. It's not the life we live is not a what you know life. It's a who you know life. And
Exactly.
knowing a guy like Ken Eriksen certainly helps. Really cool to see Georgina Corrick on a lot of the ESPN Plus broadcasts for you guys. And I just remember, that was one of either my first or second year doing some radio stuff with USF softball. And it just seemed like every single day when you showed up to the park, Georgina might throw a no-hitter today. Like she might throw a perfect game that you just never know. And I remember somebody remarking like, yeah, and look at that young girl that's catching her. She's a freshman you are a freshman, right? Freshman,
yes,
sophomore? Yeah,
freshman and sophomore.
So I'm like, yeah. And you didn't look like, it wasn't people looked at you like, oh, look at the freshman. She's doing the best she can. It was like, no, she's legit. Like she's like, you're matching. You were a big reason why, in my mind, the greatest pitcher in USF history, baseball or softball, had a lot of success. Like, what was that like going into a program knowing that you have somebody as talented as Georgina, and not only to just go in there and play with her, but also achieve some incredible success?
I think initially coming in, like everyone knew who Georgina was, and it's almost like I was super excited to work with her. And there was like some nerves. A couple of the first bullpens did not go how I planned for them to go, but kind of like trusting myself and trusting the opportunities that I'm going to get, and understanding that like George is someone who she doesn't have many mistakes. So I'm going to like take advantage of that and like make her look even better the best way I can. And understanding that like iron sharpens iron. So I want to compete at that highest level, and she's giving it to me. So how am I going to use this opportunity and thrive from it? So I think it had a lot to do with her experience and her being good. It just continued to push not only me but the team, and I think that's why we were able to make it to the postseason both of those years.
Yeah, and I know that's a big goal for you ladies this year, and I know you keep pushing, good things are going to happen. Take me through sharing some of the backstop, duties with Camille back there. Saw her playing some first. I know sometimes you catch the DP. Take us through that relationship and how that's like where, sometimes you're going to catch, sometimes you're just going to hit. How does that change your preparation? Because we've seen that in baseball and softball where a lot of times a hitter struggles when they're not defending as well, because there's a lot of free time, between ABs.
I think it has a lot to do with, again, like I've worked a lot on my mental side of the game, and that's one thing that we had meetings with coach prior to season starting, and he kind of like said it clear, like this is your role, this is what's going to happen throughout the season. And the three of us catchers have already built like a super strong bond. So again, like going back to like we want nothing but the best for each other, and embodying the role that we're given. So when I'm catching, the hitting just kind of happens, and then I go back on the field and forget about whether it's good, bad. But when I'm in the DP role, it's more so like understanding like, okay, I need to control myself on the mental side, whether it's a good at bat, bad at bat, and understanding like, okay, take my 30 seconds, do my breathing. The breathing has been a big thing for not only me but the whole team. And then I'm back on the fence cheering, because that's truly like that's my defense when I'm in the DP role. So understanding like I need to do those things to get my mind back in the game, and get involved, and how can I help like contribute to this play from being in the dugout? How can I pick a sign? Sort of just keeping myself busy, and still involved in the game.
One thing I love about softball is exactly that. And I don't know if a lot of you guys recognize, but Kent State had a young lady, Leilani, that went in as a pinch hitter late in the game, and it was 8-3. She came in off the bench. She only had one at-bat last year. That was her first at-bat the other night against you guys. She hit a single. She got pinch ran for it, and the look on her face, everybody was going crazy. They lost by 5 runs. It did not matter. That young lady that's been on this team for the last 2 years, she's gotten 2 at-bat. That was her first collegiate hit, and everybody went crazy. And after the game, yeah, they were upset they lost, but they had a hit. She got a hit, and it's a moment that I'm sure that she'll never forget. But they had a full cheer for her, like the entire time she was up there. And I was thinking to myself, this young lady has had 2 opportunities in 2 years, and they had a full cadence and everything. Do you guys have a specific song for each batter, and how do you prepare that before the season starts? Because I'm just like, my goodness, that's a lot to remember.
I don't know if you ever hear Kathy in the dugout, but you probably do. But
Yes, we
most
do.
of the times, half the things that she says is like on the spot. Like we'll think of stuff on the spot, and we'll just kind of roll with it. And then if someone else goes in, we like think of something that's gonna work for them and just roll with it. And whatever works, it tends to stick with them. But there really is no preparation or anything like that. It's just almost like freestyling.
I love that. What's been your favorite moment so far playing for USF, with this being your last season?
Oh man, my favorite moment. It's not like a specific moment, but I just love being around the girls, especially this year. Like, I love the way that we push each other, we hold each other accountable, and like, kind of, it's almost like a feeling of not like I created this, but I've been a part of like watching this team develop into what it is now for 5 years, and not many people get to do that. And falling into a role where people can look up to is really cool, and it really makes me excited for where this team's going to go.
Personal and team goals for the rest of the season, and then what after grad school, like after this season, like what's going to replace kind of this intensity? And because you've been a softball player for so long, you got to be able to fill that void somehow.
So personal goal is just to continue having fun, like taking off all the pressure of the game, and going back to like when a little 8-year-old Josie was playing. Team goals: win everything we can, win conference, win regionals, win super regionals, just keep winning. And then for next year, I luckily am in a 2-year program. So as of right now, I think I'm going to still be with the team in a GA role.
Oh, great.
So I don't have to like cut off softball completely and slowly work my way out. But depending on how my internship ends up this summer and where I land for that, maybe I'll play some softball over the summer, but kind of just going to enjoy being in the moment and being able to travel and kind of just having a summer of like, this is what it's like without softball, and then being able to go right back into it.
Well, Josie, on the field, you've been such a joy to watch, but off the field, you are those people that when anybody ever says like, there's so many little girls and young ladies that go to your games, and when they watch you and how you handle your business, and it's been like this for 5 years, you are one of those people that I say like that is not only a representative of her team, but also our community. So you have made the entire Tampa Bay area proud every single moment that you've donned the green and gold. So thank you so much for all that you've done. I cannot wait to watch more of your games and call more of them this year. And thank you so much for your time today. Again, bust Coach Ken's chops because we got to get him on the podcast here, but continued success. Make sure you work on that NIL deal for Starbucks. Okay. And have your, what was the order again?
The venti chocolate cream cold brew, 2 peppermint, 1 vanilla.
There you go. That is the Josie Foreman special. So if you want your young daughter out there to play like Josie Foreman on the softball field, that is the order you need to get them at Starbucks. Josie, you're the best. Thank you so much again for your time. Best of luck the rest of the season. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
You got it.